everyone, welcome to my channel. So Murugi Munyi stopped by Lynn's channel to do an interview about her life yesterday. So if you don't know her, she's a content creator. She hosts a podcast called The Messy In Between with her co-host Lydia Kim. And she also runs a boutique for plus size women. And on top of that, she operates Airbnbs and long-term rentals. So she went on to describe how she was brought up in a middle-class family, but unfortunately, her father is an alcoholic who was present financially but absent emotionally because of his condition. So unfortunately, that condition also rubbed off on her sister, who has been battling alcoholism for the last 10 years. In fact, when she was giving the interview, her sister was in rehab trying to clean up. So she went on to talk about how the mother also runs rehabs for addicts. I think she was motivated to do that because of what happened to her father and her sister. And then she talked about growing up in a middle class family, obviously, and how she went to study in SA. She went to do her undergrad degree in SA, but in the first semester, she got pregnant. That time she was only 19, and surprisingly, that pregnancy was planned. It wasn't an oops baby. She said she was so in love with the father of her firstborn, so they planned to have that baby because she believed he was going to be the man in her life forever and ever. Then, unfortunately, they broke up. So, but lucky for her, her mother was very supportive when she revealed she was pregnant. But then she was supportive, but she gave her the real. She told her her life was going to change from what she knew, because obviously being a parent comes with responsibilities. But she didn't struggle like a normal single mother would, because she had that financial support from her parents, and the child's father was also present, which was surprising because a lot of young guys would run away from that responsibility. So he stuck around. So when she came from South Africa, she was lucky to land a stable job. So she was able to afford to move out with her son and started life. So she started dating people here and there, but she was dating them casually until she bumped into Zach. Zach was a workmate at BAT. So when they started dating, that is like 2 months after they met, she could sense the guy was serious. So they started dating. In fact, she introduced Zach to her son shortly afterwards, which was strange because she hadn't introduced her son to the other people she was dealing with, because she didn't deem them to be serious enough. So anyway, their relationship developed, and would you believe, within 1 year, they were already married. So she talked about her wedding, which she wasn't so excited about because she was pregnant. In fact, all the wedding plans were left to Zach and his family. So they got married, and the funny thing is, she said when she revealed to Zach that she was a single mother, he wasn't put off. In fact, she says he was more interested in her, and that is due to the fact that Zach was also brought up by a single mother. But if you ask me, I would totally discourage any ladies from having a kid with a guy who they are not committed to, because it usually affects you further down the line, especially if that guy doesn't end up marrying you. It sort of ruins your prospects for future relationships. And like some wise TV judge called Lynn Ngugi said, she said, you should never let a man put his future in your body until he's committed to having a future with you. So she was lucky she got a unicorn in the name of Zach, because a lot of guys would duck from you once you reveal that you have a kid from another relationship. So anyway, so she said Zach proposed. They went hiking on Mount Kenya. That's where Zach proposed. And she obviously had to say yes to him because he ticked a lot of her boxes. So one of the qualities she liked was the fact that he's tall, dark, and handsome, which is true. And he's also loving, he's kind. They share similar values, especially when it comes to how to raise kids. He was financially stable when she met him, which is a quality that I believe most women look for in a man. And then he was in his 30s while she was 26 or 27 when they started dating. So that was a good age gap, because that meant he was ahead in some things, which is necessary for a guy to lead in a relationship. So the other caveat is he didn't have any kids, which I found very interesting, because given that she already had a child from another relationship, I thought she would be very accommodating to a guy who had a kid. But it turns out she didn't want a man who had a child because of the complexities that come with dealing with stepchildren, which I think is very selfish, because she already had one child. So anyway, so like I said, she was pregnant on her wedding day, but didn't enjoy the day because she was tired from the pregnancy. But she enjoyed the honeymoon which they had in Watamu. So she was probed about the co-parenting relationship she has with the firstborn's father, and she said she actually has a very good relationship with the guy, because they consulted a lawyer who advised them to draft a parental responsibility agreement, which is a legal document that states details about child support payments, primary custody arrangements, and everything that is required around bringing up a child. So she said that document really helps them to stick to the arrangements they have, and it also helps to establish boundaries so that nobody just can abruptly say they want to have the child when it's not their turn, unless you've mutually agreed to make slight alterations from what the agreement states. So that peaceful co-parenting situation has enabled the kid to develop a healthy relationship with the biological father and the stepfather. So much so that the child tells his friends he's got two daddies, which is a positive thing, because in most relationships where there's stepfathers involved or stepmothers, we usually see tension. But surprisingly, in theirs, it seems like there is harmony. So, but when it came to her marriage, because there was a scandal that rocked their marriage like 3 years ago, where there was alleged infidelity on her side and on her hubby's side. So these allegations were published by the gossip blogger Edgar Obare, and he actually got to interview the lady in question, who goes by the name Nurse Judy. So this lady talked about how the marriage was broken by the time she was having an affair, allegedly having an affair with Murugi Munyi's husband. You can check the videos, which I'm going to link at the bottom of this video, so you can know more about what happened then and how, I don't know, you just watch for yourself and see whether she was telling the truth or not. But anyway, when Murugi was questioned about that scandal, she gave a politician's answer, because she said a lot of netizens don't use discernment, as in people are too quick to believe what bloggers post on their pages. So she also said she doesn't owe anyone an explanation because she believes most of her followers are not her friends. So I hope that statement doesn't alienate people, because she's very active on social media and she depends on social media to leverage her businesses. So I hope that's not going to put people off and make them unfollow her. So she said she doesn't owe people an explanation about her relationship because she doesn't take them as friends. So she brushed that away. But then when she was asked if she holds any grudges with Edgar Barre, who publicized the story, she was like, she doesn't hold any grudges because, after all, Edgar Barre is just a content creator like her, and all he's doing is trying to make some money. And she also thanked him because that scandal actually made her social media platform grow, which she has been able to leverage for her other businesses. And when it came to the other lady who was supposedly having an affair with her husband, she said she's indifferent about her. She didn't bash her. It's like she was trying to make her very insignificant. So I don't know whether that was just a way of coping or trying to really show that woman that she didn't really cause any harm. But when she was asked if the allegations affected their relationship, she said it actually did, because they ended up actually separating temporarily for like 2 weeks, but then afterwards they got back together. They attended therapy, and from that incident she learned a lot of lessons, because she stopped posting a lot of stuff about her life. She just said from that time she's just been posting surface level stuff. And then she also stopped tagging her husband, though she said because her content is family oriented, she usually gets more engagement whenever she posts her children and her hubby. But she said she limited that, or is it she totally stopped tagging her husband? And then as for Judy, that is the nurse Judy who was supposedly having a relationship with Zach, the lady emigrated to the US because I think she's a nurse, a registered nurse in the US. She's always posting about how she's making a lot of money. And it seems like she also has a good relationship with her baby daddy, because she's always posting about how they're in communication. But the baby daddy and the two kids are based in Tanzania, from what I see on social media. So I don't know whether they plan to link up after some time, or I don't know whether they're going to be in a long distance relationship. But that is a bit tricky, because even on Judy's side, if you check the video, which I'm going to link at the bottom, she said when she was having an affair with Zach, the hubby was also having an affair with somebody else. So I don't know how this long distance relationship is helping their situation. Or maybe they've given each other passes, you never know. So all in all, it seems like Murugi and the hubby are in a better place, which is a relief, because as you know, they have innocent kids, and whenever the parents split, it's usually the children who suffer. So I'm glad that they were able to fight for their marriage, and they're in a better place, which can only mean a good foundation for their children, because they're still minors. So I wish them well, and I must say, like Lynn Ngugi said, she judged Murugi Munyi before she got to interview her. And I can also say I had also judged her. I thought she was a bit stuck up and mean, but after listening to that interview, I think I understand her a little bit. Okay, I'm not saying I know her, but I understand why she is the way she is on social media. I think when you're a content creator or an influencer, you have to develop some thick skin, because the trolls test you. So I understand her a bit, especially now that I'm also on the journey of content creation. But that doesn't mean that I know her fully, because I've never met her. It's just that she's opened up a bit, and I sort of understand why she presented herself the way she did, especially when the rumors were circulating about her marriage. So I'll end it there. I'll just link the videos, like I said before, so you can check them out if you want to know more about Murugi and Nurse Judy and what transpired like 3 years ago. And as usual, just like this video, share it with as many people as possible. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so to help my channel grow. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.
You have to be intentional about
Exactly.
But let's talk about marriage now, because you are a content creator. People know you online. But then this day we woke up and there was just drama left, right, and center. About your marriage, you know. And it's funny that you came in, and fortunately or unfortunately, one of our creative directors shares a name with with Edgar Obare, you know. And we just woke up, not Obare, but the Edgar itself, you know. And we just woke up, and Murugi this, Zach this, Nurse Judy this and this and this and this. I don't want to preempt anything, but what do you have to say about that?
So, this is one of those things I never comment about.
Yeah.
By the way, if you notice on my platform, there will be, people can write anything. She has murdered this person, they have done this. I don't know, her children were seen where, whatever.
Yes.
I never say anything. Because one thing I've realized with being online is that it doesn't, a lot of people, especially Kenyans, are not discerning. They're not discerning when it comes to the media. All they need to see is a title.
Murugi this.
Murugi this, and they've already decided that's what it is.
Yes.
Most people do not open and read the article. Most people will not do their due diligence to check and see, like, wait, but is this adding up? Is this actually making sense? A lot of people don't do that. So I am always cautious of, I don't want to waste my energy where it is serving no value. I always just feel like if you want to believe, you know, that I'm a certain kind of person, then it's okay. You just go and believe, because anyway, you're not feeding me. You know what I mean? And it's like, I can't spend so much of my energy trying to defend myself online, you know? One thing I always tell people, whether it relates to my marriage or to anyone else's marriage, first, me, I can never defend hands or mouth that are not mine.
Yes.
Me, I only know what me I have done.
Yes.
Me, I don't know about what anybody else has done. But I also say, ndoa ya watu waache tu, because you do not know anything about anyone else's marriage. People who have seen each other naked, leave them alone.
Yes.
Leave them alone, because you will never understand it, you know. And I because whatever is seen online is this part of the story, the only way that I would clear all those things up is by now coming to tell everything else that happens, or everything else that happened in the midst of that.
Yeah.
And do I really want to spend my energy doing that, Lynn?
No.
I really don't, you know. So for me, what I try to do is I just try to ride the wave. I ride the wave. I've seen this other lady, I don't say her name out loud, but I've seen this other lady insult me, talk about me, say I'm such a...
I have decided I want to finally address this issue. I know so many people will tell me, oh, you don't need to be understood, you don't need to explain yourself, you don't need to give your side of the story, blah, 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 blah. Because so many people know how to advise when they're not in that situation, they're not in that shoe, they don't know how it feels. But we forget that all of us, we're going to always deal with different issues differently. We always don't want the same way. So if me talking about this and addressing this is going to make me feel better, then just let me be. I do not understand how I'm being called a homewrecker. How can I be a homewrecker to a home that was already broken? How did I break a home that was already broken? Yami Mami, Joanne Murugi, was already gallivanting her right, left, and center with different men. He was cheating on Zach with Kevin Twisa. Her former boss was Port Pesa. Before even Zach cheated on her with me, she was already doing it. She was already cheating. It does not justify that I cheated. It was wrong. What I did was totally wrong. It was disrespectful. Regardless that, like, my husband was also already cheating on me. It does not justify all that. It does not make me a better person. If you have been a follower for a long time, you all know me, how honest I like to be. I will always be honest, no matter how painful, no matter how hard, no matter how embarrassing. And this year I have been subjected to so many things, to so many dramas, to so many, that left me looking bad. On top of that, I have let so much anger, so much bitterness consume me. It has consumed me emotionally, physically, mentally. That is so draining. Kila kitu ilianzia last year January, but it did not start this year. It only came to the limelight this year January, but I have been battling with this from last year January, after my friend took screenshots and akatumia Murugi, akatumia Edgar Obare. She was also sending to her friends. The friends were creating pseudo accounts. They were sending me those screenshots and they were threatening, wakiniambia they're going to be sending to bloggers, waniambia nitume pesa. But I told them to go ahead and send them screenshots, because I wasn't going to send any money to anyone, because utashinana ukituma pesa hivyo hivyo, it's never going to be enough. Every time wanakuthreaten unatuma hivyo. So do I have the money to keep writing so that that story is not out there? Anyway, so come January, nakumbuka nilikuwa niko salon. So nikiwa kwa salon, my husband sent me a screenshot and a message akiniambia, hey, how come Yami Mami is requesting to follow me? Because so niko kwa salon, nikaonanga hiyo screenshot amenitumia, and then the text was like, hey, how come Yami Mami ananitumia friend request on Instagram? So alikuwa ananiuliza hivyo because alikuwa anajua. Let me be honest with you, I used to be a follower of Murugi. There's a time I tagged Murugi Terence na Natalie, because there's a time I used to follow them religiously. So there's a time I made a post nikasema my favorite people yeah, I said my favorite people on Instagram is Terence, Murugi, Natalie. Tewa ile time alikuwa anadate that tall guy, I can't remember, the tall handsome guy. So yeah, I was a follower of Nanina. My husband used to know that, so kashanga. So he was wondering how come Yami Mami anamtumia friend request. It was strange, it was weird. So when I saw the screenshot, and me already nilikuwa ninajua, so nikajua tu like anamtumia friend request kwa sababu ashafikiwa na hizi screenshots, and obviously sasa ameenda akanitafuta, akanipata na akapata handle ya bwana yangu, and now he wants to. Nilikuwa nishajua, so I started panicking. Nikapatwa na instant diarrhea. I remember going to a public toilet in town, CBD, na kwanza ni ya kusquat. Sinilihara. Sijai hara. Mpaka nikisimama nilikuwa nasikia tule tushilingi mtu sikia hivi. I knew what's about to go down. So any minute I was just expecting tena natuma screenshots zingine. So this year has been hard. It has been painful. As much as sometimes that like I look like I'm doing just okay, but the number of times I have cried myself to bed, I cannot even count. but I know one day it's gonna be fine. So that I'm trusting that and I'm believing that it's gonna be fine. Going through separation with someone I have been married to for 10 years has not been easy. On top of that, the bitterness and the anger that I let it consume me, drained me emotionally, mentally, almost physically, has been killing me. And on top of that, having to go through all the trolls, all the insults online by people who understand nothing about this whole story. Because you know what happened? YouTubers and bloggers, when they did this cheating story, you know, like when Edgar did the story and he reached out and asked for my side of the story, he posted it on a channel that is paid for. So if you have not paid for that, most people are not able to access the story. And people who now, like from the other bloggers and YouTubers, were stealing the story from Edgar, and then wakienda kuipost wanaiweka on headlines kama like Yummy Mommy's husband cheats on her with Nas Judy, ingine unapata wameka Nas Judy assaulted over cheating with Yummy Mommy, you know, like headlines ilikuwa zina cover in a way that mimi na Zakto tulicheat. It wasn't, there's nowhere that covered how Yummy Mommy cheated and how my husband cheated. So every time someone comes to do my DM is just insulting me like, oh, unajifanyanga tu hapo a good nurse and you're just a homewrecker. Like Judy, I was just doing a story on relationships and tulikuwa tuna joke, not even kujoke, we were just having like actually a serious conversation, but sometimes I like to make it fun. So I was just doing stories on relationship na vile soko imeuza huku nje and saying how it's not easy after I was married for 10 years and now having to go back on the dating pool and how it is tough to get someone who is real, genuine, you know. And then someone wrote to me like, Ati, you deserve that because you went breaking Murugi's home. Now see how you're suffering. Wewe uliachwa, bado wako pamoja. And I'm like, wait a minute. How did I break Murugi's home while already Murugi was gallivanting her vagina right, left, and center from cheating on Zach with her former boss, Kevin Twisa, Mara ni baby daddy, and different other men? How did I break her home when she was already cheating everywhere in Nairobi, trying to sleep? Actually, I'll attach a screenshot. See the husband threatening to expose her for all the cheatings. If anything, mimi ndo nilikuwa nabembelezana na Zaka namwambia no, there's no need. So how did I break the home when Murugi was already cheating on her husband? I know the size, the color, the position, the location of her vagina from all the videos, the nudes that she was sending to Kevin Twisa. When she was breastfeeding the small baby, I don't know the name, she was sending lactation videos. I will never forget the sight of that video where my mommy was pressing her breast milk in a sprinkle even just because her lover Kevin Twisa amemwambia kuna lactation fantasy, so anataka nudes za lactation fantasy, so alikuwa na press maziwa hivi, ana press hivi, maziwa zina sprinkle shui, and she sends. And then that is someone that you guys are claiming I broke their home. Are you even guys serious? I'm not in any manner justifying my actions. Despite my husband cheating on me, I was wrong on stepping out of our marriage. It was disrespectful. It was ugly. The whole situation of the cheating, this is cheating, cheating, right? You know, he was cheating, I was cheating, Zach was cheating, the woman was cheating. I don't know. Like, you know, it was like a chain of just people who are cheating, who are married and they're cheating. It was something that was very ugly. And looking back at it, I kind of sometimes punish myself so much about it. I hate myself so much about it. I'm so hard on myself to have been involved in such a thing. And these online things does not even make it even any better. Even all you guys who come typing long DMs, insulting me and saying stuff, you're all going through that. It's only that we were going through ours in public. Nyinyi mna go through huko chini ya maji, hakuna mtu anaelewa. But a good percentage is going through things. Infidelity is happening. Cheating zina happens. It's ndio wa kwanza ama ndio wa mwisho. It's happening. And yeah, we have a few percentage of people who are loyal. I don't really need to make anybody understand why I was so angry and bitter with Yummy Mommy, but this woman, ushaona mtu roho chafu, ushaona mtu anajua kuincite. Yani this woman was constantly texting my husband, inciting him, akiongeza uongo. On top of zile screenshots ametuma anaongeza uongo, like she's texting on a daily akimwambia I hope you're not going to take that level of disrespect. Yani can you imagine someone who's talking about level of disrespect? Na huyu ni mtu mwenye mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa namtetea kwa bwana yake asiachwe after like Zach found out she was cheating because Yummy Mommy started cheating on her even before me and Zach were meet. And then still later tulikuwa tushamit tukaanza kuwa friends and whatever. Hiyo time tena tukiwa pamoja na Zach akachiti tena mara ya tatu, na ndio alimpata na Kevin Twisa. Ndio yote alikuwa anatuma nudes, the nudes mimi mpaka nimeona the shape, the size, the color of her vagina. I've seen how her boobs look like because she was sending sprinkling milk. Juu Kevin Twisa alimwambia kuna lactation fantasy. Wow, that's a very weird fantasy. But yeah, that's the time she was breastfeeding mtanu ama aka katoto kadogo kao. She was sending breastfeeding. So huyu ndio mtu mwenyewe enda kuambia bwana yangu aniache kwa sababu he shouldn't take that kind of disrespect. Now from the screenshots zenye walikuwa na share, and then now she goes ahead to tell my husband afai kuchukua hiyo level of disrespect. Ile nikakaa hivi nikasema how dare she? Yani hiyo time ndio nikakaa hivi nikaelewa, because when the husband used to tell me venye she's a fake woman, controversial, and that's the thing that actually helped her to thrive in content creation, because you know when you're controversial and you're fake, you tend to thrive more, and actually it's a good thing for her. You know, if anything is making you money, go. But yeah, the husband, I remember kiniambia you kuwa fake, controversial, a pretender, hypocrite, you know, she really is. Cause can you imagine online, even those two segments alikuwa anafanya za relationship, unapata mtu amekuja amemwambia oh, my husband is cheating on me, my husband is a narcissist, and then she goes like, girl, you should know your worth, you should know your value, you know what to do, throw the man in the bin. Na saa hizo is the period yenye mwenyewe ako busy ana cheat, ako busy anachitiwa on, ako busy anapigwa na amekaa anashinda every day. This woman was slapped on 2 occasions and she stayed. But akienda online, there is like a segment mtu amesema alifanywa like some sort of assault by the husband, anawaambia toka, leave, you should know your worth, no one should lay a hand on you. But she's still in her marriage till now. This woman atashinda akiambia watu, oh, you shouldn't stay with a narcissist every day. Anatuma long text TV, because I used to have an access to both phones za Zach, and I used to keep their messages. Tabia mbaya, I know. And then she is just texting how narcissist Zach is. Narcissist, sijui anamuita mpaka majina zingine zinakaa ni kama mental disorders a narcissist. Mpaka mimi mwenyewe nasa mpaka siku ninazijua hiyo time niliziona kwa hiyo text. Haikuja online. Oh, I love my husband so much. Na kama paragraphs za venye. The same day, I remember there's a time tulikuwa tumekaa na Zach, we were viewing her Insta story, and then tukaanza kuona paragraph alikuwa ameandika akisifu Zach, akisema venye anapenda Zach. And that morning alikuwa amemwandikia whole paragraph ya kumtukana, akimwita narcissist nini. Mpaka akasema unaona venye anakuanga fake, unaona venye anakuanga psycho, sijui nini. Now between me and her is a narcissist, sijui who is toxic. You know, so anyway, this woman continues to give lies on top of lies and inciting my husband, saying you shouldn't take that level of disrespect. Akaanza kumwambia, you know me, I've made the decision to separate from my husband, I can't take the disrespect. Imagine, mtu ametuma news, he's telling my husband he can't take the disrespect. And husband, he can't take the disrespect. And so he kept calling, akiuliza, what decision have you made? Yani, kama alikuwa anataka kumake sure nimeachwa. But anyway, given that my husband had cheated on me and nilikuwa nimemforgive, and now we decided we are going to work things. He decided to block her. He deleted all those stuff that Yami Mami was sending her, and we decided we are going to work through our things. And that was last year, January. And throughout the year, it wasn't easy. It was really, really challenging. Let me tell you what infidelity can do to your relationship or marriage. It's going to be hard to sail through. You know, marriage challenges, issue, finances, fights, zingine, it can be easy to sail through. But when it comes to infidelity, it's a whole different ballgame. Guy, yani, you establish your trust and taking back the relationship to where it was, it becomes so hard. For me, like, niko na feel like I'm forgiven, I'm ready to move on. But for him, from those screenshots that Yami Mami sent, it was an trigger. Because we could be fighting about something totally different, and then was get to conversation yetu ya fight imeenda back to those screenshots yenye ana highlight ka screenshot yenye Yami Mami alituma. Unaanza sometimes kusikia akisema I wish Yami Mami akunitumia hizo screenshots, I wish I didn't have to see the screenshots, because it was traumatized. Yani because ilikuwa anazireplay, and every time I used to see that, it used to make me hate Yami Mami times 100, times a million. Every time now this is coming up in our fight, it used to intensify the bitterness and the anger towards Yami Mami, because nilikuwa na feel like kama singe kutuma hizo screenshots, maybe it wouldn't be like this. Na kitu kwanza ilikuwa inanipo zaidi, it's because the same Yami Mami, I remember ndiye alikuwa advising women on Instagram akisema like, if you should never confront the mistress, you should deal with the man, you should deal with your man, kwa sababu your man ndio umemake vows na yeye. Like when she cheated, Zach hakwenda confront Kevin Twisa, hakwenda kungangana na Miss Maruma ni bibia Kevin Twisa, he dealt with her. So I could not understand kwa nini Yami Mami alikuwa anaenda kutext kwa bwana yangu. So it used to make me feel so triggered and so bitter with this woman, because siko naelewa kwa nini alikuja kudeal na bwana yangu. Kwa nini asideal na Zach? Mbona simulizie yeye ndio alimake vows na yeye, mbona yeye amekuja kudeal na bwana yangu? Na pia that's the same advice alikuwa anapatia wanawake Instagram, like you shouldn't deal with the mistress. So why was she not taking her own advice? Yani, I have done all I could to try and work on what I feel towards that woman. Yani, I even had to unfollow those people, you know. I want to post content yake sana. Someone like Lydia Kim, I was a huge fan, but I had to unfollow her. Maureen Bandari, I was a huge fan, but you can notice content yake iko na Murugi sana. I had to unfollow, and I'm not, they work together, they are their friends, and they have to post, and so it's me to see how to deal with it. And by dealing with it in the Instagram, I can follow, block, and what. So I just unfollowed them. I didn't block them. So what used to make me feel bad, because mimi nilitetea Yami Mami kwa Zach sana. By the way, nilimtetea sana, because I remember before me tuanze kuona like an actual cheating relationship, ile time alimpata akicheat, alikuwa amethreaten atamwanika nini, akimcall names, and me hapo nilikuwa akisema venye by the actually at some point Zach aliniambia that's why he has been hiding so many things from Yami Mami about like his plans, his goals, his investments. At that time kuna vitu zenye alikuwa amemfichia about investment. I don't know by now when they rekindled their love, maybe I'm not sure, but that time he was still hiding things from him. Again, he didn't like the way Yami Mami used to overshare every little details of their life, so that used to make him feel like he wants to hide even investments or something to do with some of the finances from her. So So your time when they were going through those issues that sasa ya mimami could cheat, I remember mimi nilikuwa natetea mimami because first as a woman mimi nilikuwa ninamfeel. The second one because me before tuanze kuwa na cheating relationship na Zach, I was a fan. So mimi nilimtetea sana. But for her the minute the screenshots landed kwa mikono yake, all she did was send all of them, aki-highlight, aki-incite, akisema, oh, don't take disrespect, you should... wow. And the most interesting thing is like the way she was just gallivanting in radio stations, trying to deny stuff, to save her face in her marriage. But we all know she's living a lie. Even now, I'm sure she's struggling. Working through infidelity is not easy. I was there. And by the time I walked out of my marriage, it was not because I did as she said in Yachon and Kaachwa, because even after she said that, we were able to work through our marriage for 1 year. But it got to a point, the constant fight, the constant reminder of how I cheated. I was subjected to emotional pain for a long time throughout the year. Mpaka nikasema, no, it's not worth my mental health. It's not worth it. And so the last time when I walked out, he did something bad in relation to this cheating story. And that's the minute I decided, you know what? I can't take this anymore. And I walked. Yeah, so I've seen people come in to tell me, oh, ati ulidhani unaenda kuharibu boma yake, but when ulienda kuachwa. It's not because she said niliachwa ndio niliachwa, by the way. It's just because you were not able to, you know, people deal with infidelity differently. And let me tell you, in marriage, wacha nikwambie, any other challenge can be so easy to work through, but infidelity is a whole different thing. Like, and especially for men it's hard because for like him, yani hakuwa imagine how I could ever cheat on him. My husband never imagined I would ever cheat on him. It came to him as a shock. It honestly damaged him. It damaged his ego. It did a couple of things to him, which I understand even why sometimes he reacted the way he reacted. I don't want to justify his mistake or what, because what he did to me was wrong. He was not supposed to do that to me. But also, men don't take cheating lightly. It's their hard truth. Double standard ziko. When they cheat, it's kind of like okay, and we're supposed to forgive them and forget. But when we cheat, we are supposed to be subjected to physical and emotional torture, because that's exactly what happened. I cannot lie to you guys. My marriage coming to an end was very painful. It was not something I had imagined that would ever happen to me, because we had a very beautiful, pure, genuine thing going on for like 8 years before all this infidelity came knocking our door. I enjoyed a beautiful, genuine thing. Mpaka nakanga hivi nashanga, will I ever get such a thing ever again? Because honestly, before like anza kuni-cheat na mimi ni-cheat, and me I did not even cheat because I was trying to revenge. It just happened because we just started growing apart, and you know, as always, as human beings, tunapenda to blame the devil. The devil got a chance at this period where we were growing apart. That's when I met Zach, and at the time he was going through stuff, so it was easy to mingle and start an emotional connection. Most of the time I try not to regret things I have done in life, and I still don't regret anything, because at that particular point it felt good. What I feel bad, what hurt me the most, what is painful is the consequences that the cheating came with. You know, like when such things happen, when a marriage comes to an end, it does not only affect one person, two person, it affects like the kids, the family setup, and so many things. It's just hard, it's just painful. And given that we had a very, very, I don't want to cry, seems to be the worst part was to having to go through this in public. Everybody is watching, your colleagues are seeing, your friends are seeing, your in-laws are seeing, your siblings are seeing. You know, it affects them mentally. As much as sometimes we might look like, yeah, gangster, I'm okay, but you know, it got to a point I told myself, I'm not gonna beat myself too hard over this. I'm human, I'm bound to make a mistake, I've learned from my mistake, and I have grown over time mentally, how to deal with things. I know what not to repeat in the future. I know, you know, so anyway, all I can say, if you are contemplating on cheating, don't do it. It's not worth it. The feeling might feel sweet and nice at that particular point, but the consequences are painful. And the consequences, see where peke yako na suffer, ni watu wengi sana. So it's not worth it. And come to think of it, like when you cheat, your partner is cheating. The cheating is like a whole chain of like 10 people. Can you imagine what could happen in that chain? Hata mtajua nani analeta ugonjwa. Because now looking back at it, I was like, what if something happened? Like these STDs, this HIV, it was not an worth act. And then inapotezea tu mtu respect, you know. Out in the public, mtu anakuangalia in a different way. Okay, I don't care how people look at it or look at me or whatever. I forgive myself, and I'm not going to allow my past mistake to define me and my future. I'm destined for greatness, and I can only learn from the mistake, but I'm not going to be stuck here. And hata ukicheat and then murudiane na partner wako, it's never the same, by the way. It's never the same. So instead of risking your marriage to your marriage to go through that, and especially kwanza pahali mwanamke pia amecheat. Pahali it's a man amecheat. Okay, this is according to the society and it's so wrong, but it's so true. But where a man amecheat peke yake mwanamke hajacheat, it can be easier. I don't know how true is that, but pahali mwanamke pia amecheat, it's hard. It's hard. So tulia tu nyumbani, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. That's all I will say. Namaste.
Well, ni hayo tu kwa sasa. You have heard it from Nurse Judy, what happened and also what led her